Welcome back to Founders in the Field, the show where we go behind the scenes with agency leaders, consultants, and creative founders to show you how they're building, scaling, and staying sane in the trenches. I'm your host, Stefan Bradley, and today's guest is Jim Flint, founder and CEO of Local Search Group. Jim is a recognized leader with over 25 years' experience in marketing and advertising, having worked with global brands like Nike and Toyota and helping clients scale through his agency, which he started 15 years ago. How are you doing, Jim?
Doing well, Stefan. That's right. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
no
Yeah.
problem. Let's dive straight in. For people who don't know your story, take us right back to the beginning and what sparked your journey and what made you start Local Search.
Well, I was at a point in a corporate career where I figured out that corporations are designed to prevent failure. And the thing that actually still to this very day that keeps me motivated is helping people grow. And then kind of that, personal growth turned into helping industries grow, helping companies grow, helping organizations grow. So now I think about the entire ecosystem and what we do in automotive and in the advertising space that either helps or hurts kind of the ecosystem at large. And so, interestingly enough, it's kind of that growth characteristic that helped catapult me into a place where I was better serving the community versus in corporations where I felt like at times we were just trying to de-risk. And I understand why corporations do that, but in terms of what I wanted to do with my day to day, that's how I ended up where I am today.
Perfect, perfect. And when you started Local Search Group, was it where you want to be, where you first started, thought it would be right now? As in, was it always going to be in the automotive space, or was you planning on branching out another thing?
I I thought about it and we tried it a couple of times, and every time even today that I do it, it seems to fail. And so now I steer clear of it quite literally because typically when compared to automotive, it's a smaller dollar amount. It's less complicated. I'm competing on price where I don't have expertise. So if I'm going to deliver a product to you that's better and faster and it's more expensive, I'd rather compete in automotive where my intuition is strong, where my experience is strong, and where I can add, not just value, but like add tremendous value to the customer, which is my client. And even really, like I said earlier, try to connect the dot through the client, which is my automotive retailer, to the consumer so that we thread the needle and everybody has a better experience. So I'm kind of more into a closer, more tightly knitted community that, in this space, people know when you don't know. And a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to convince others that, oh, I used to do this in automotive and I've really, really, really done most of the jobs in automotive, not only from a factory like OEM perspective, Lexus, you mentioned Toyota, but really at a retail level, which most haven't that have worked at the OEM. I'm not saying all haven't. There's a select few that have done both. But then really the special is for 3 years, for 15 years, and now on the third lever, I'm on the agency. So you got factory experience, retail experience, and agency experience. So interestingly enough, I know the games that each of them play. I know how to help them win. And in the middle of all that, right, is how do I help the automotive retailer and the consumer win at the same time? And what I've been able to do is make a little bit of money over a long period of time. And that's been my business model that I've been working on for 15 years.
Yeah, fantastic. So, is it mainly dealerships, or is it
Yes.
just like yes, mainly dealerships,
I,
like Toyota dealerships, Lexus dealerships, that type of thing?
exactly. And I've worked with the factory for a while. So I did work with tier two associations. We had for a while at Toyota, I was overseeing 40 different DMAs with the help of other people within the corporation. But more recently, as an agency, I helped the Honda dealers in Austin for about 10 years and helped them drive their digital go to market strategy. And I mean, it was just tremendously helpful. We helped them grow their market share in a really competitive environment. I mean, that's one of the things too. Like automotive is very competitive. So if you don't like to compete on behalf of your client, then it's not probably a place that you want to be in. Because some people get attracted to, oh, I like the idea that there's lots of dollars, but alongside those dollars comes lots of pressure.
High value, but obviously high pressure also. Have
Yes.
you always been sort of into cars, automotives, even before you did the business then?
It's fun. I think I got my start with Nike. I know I
Yeah.
did actually in a regional sales office. And I think my ability in automotive is more akin to that competitive spark
Mm, yeah.
than it necessarily is for any particular love of a
Mm,
car or,
yeah.
some people in Texas grow up and their dad and their granddad, they drove Fords, so they're only going to drive Fords. I was never indoctrinated like that. Or if their dad and their grandpa drove Chevys, then they were going to drive Chevys. But I'm more experiential, I suppose. In other words, I want to know about your make, your model, your market. I have a tendency to, my first car was a Ford Mustang. I really enjoyed that car. But through the years, I've driven probably everything that Toyota has to offer. I've driven Chevy, I've driven
Yeah.
Tacomas, Tahoes, you name it. I want to
Yeah.
get that experience. Been behind the wheel of a Camaro. I really haven't spent time behind the wheel of the super exotics, but maybe that's for a day when I retire.
Yeah, definitely. So your passion was more not in the actual cars, but in the environment that car marketing creates and the high pressure, high not value,
Yeah,
but
and to say it another way, like we got into this place where the numbers became such a big part of what it is that you do on marketing. And so growing up in a world of sports and basketball and baseball where numbers were big, I mean, statistics were huge. And I got pretty good at statistics. And then I found kind of my gateway, my bridge from Nike over into a regional sales office at Nissan. And all of a sudden, numbers were kind of important, not just like maintaining the budget, but the size of the market. And then we evolved into this place where Google Analytics started to be this really important thing to marketers. And what about the numbers of sessions and visitors and bounce rate and time on site and and then now if you're in marketing, you better be good at numbers too. It's not just creative, like it's creative and people, psychographics, demographics, and numbers.
yeah, definitely. So I read that you also you're advocate for the blockchain. Do your two business, do they cross over at all? Like, do you do marketing for that type of thing as well?
Yeah, I've got a couple of retailers in automotive who want to let consumers know that they speak Bitcoin or that they speak crypto. And I've done a lot of research on transactionally how this is going to go down at retail for automotive. I mean, at one level, we can make it really, really super complex. But then if we zoom out a little bit, we can say, you know what? If somebody takes MasterCard, Cash, American Express, check, Visa, well, why wouldn't you take crypto? And whether that's Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, or Solana, that's just another way to pay. And I think that's where it's headed. But right now, a lot of things are getting ironed out. And so I think ironically, retail will be the last one. Automotive retail is typically a little slow, technologically speaking. And but once they get on board, it's critical mass. And so we're accumulating monthly active users is what I track. I used to track monthly active users for the internet. Then I did it for mobile devices, and then I did it for Facebook. And now I'm starting to do it for ChatGPT. I'm starting to
Yeah,
do it for cryptocurrency because at the end of the day, for my clients and for the consumers, I don't want to be ahead of the game. I want to be in the right places at the right times. And so, analytically speaking, I know you're kind of in an environment when something is 20% of the total top population base, it's going to make it, like no
yeah,
doubt about it.
yeah,
But automotive is really not all in until you get to about 50% of the population. And once you get to about 50% of the population, it's probably too late for some of the dealers who didn't start down this path, but I can help them catch up faster, right? And I don't want to be there between 20% and 50%. So really a key point, a key number for me, here I am giving away all my agency secrets on your show, but there's 337 million people in the US. And so if I get to 165 million monthly active users on something, I'm going in automotive because odds are more than less, right? Is it going to be heads or tails? Well, it's going to be one of the two. And once I get to 50%, I know I got a better shot at getting somebody to use the internet, to use their mobile phone, to transact in cryptocurrency, to use ChatGPT. So those are the things that I'm tracking.
definitely. Just like not staying too ahead, but just staying in touch with the market at all times, basically, and just staying a little bit in front so you know the next
I have a tendency to be early, but the car business is relentless. So like if I can't help you win that game that month, let's not play. I
move.
I think it's like American football here. You may have a game plan that can help you win next week or the week after, but that's not really helpful. You know why? Because I got a game this week. So if you want to win this week in football in the US, what do they call it in Europe? You're in Europe, right?
Yeah, so we just call it football, but different sports, soccer
So
over
now
here.
it's American football, right? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
fair?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in American football, there's 17 games in a regular season, and in the calendar month, which we both have the same, there's 12 months. And so it's the closest thing athletically to like I got to perform this month. And if you don't, there might be a new coach. You know how it goes, right? There's going to be new players for sure if you start losing too much. So players, coaches, a lot of similarities between the two, and they're numbers everywhere. And so we track things, we measure things, and we find the opportunities.
So, Jim, you're leading local search group today. What does your role actually look like inside the agency, and where do you personally spend most of your time?
So I kind of active. I would say player coach. I've I've done everything, and we've kept a relatively small shop. And oftentimes, my best value, I got to figure out what I figure out two things. One, what's my best value to the organization? Second, what is the person who's going to replace me do? And it's funny because I think about this at least once every 90 days. And I think it keeps me rather humble and very growth minded, right? Think about what the person that replaces you would do. Are they going to be better to associates? Are they going to spend more time in front of clients? Are they going to spend more time behind the keyboard? I mean, these are some of the things I think about. And more recently, my greatest value to the company and what it is that somebody would do that would replace me are actually the same thing. And so in that little Venn diagram, what I'm doing now is spending more time out in front of not only current clients, but prospective clients. Because of the change that's going to occur with ChatGPT and AI, my greatest value to the company is being in front of clients that can buy our services. And we're finding that that is a great place to be. It helps us grow. But at the same time that we're growing, we get to produce results. And so this is one of those things that I think a lot about right now. It's like, when is ChatGPT going to start to advertise?
True, true.
And
Yeah.
my intuition tells me the longest run would be 3 years, because that's about how long it went before Facebook started to advertise. And we're about 18 months into ChatGPT. We're at about 33% of our way, 33% towards that 50% target that I'm talking about. But I haven't seen Gemini advertise. I haven't seen ChatGPT. I haven't seen Grok. And those are the three that I'm tracking. One of them's going to move. I wouldn't be shocked if they did it in the fourth quarter of this year for the holiday season, but it's going to be big news. And when it happens, the dominoes start to fall.
Yeah, and it's going to be slightly, it would be slightly different to how Facebook advertises, because obviously that's like people, like marketers can advertise on that. How would it? I wonder how it would be from ChatGPT, because we're all individual users locked into our own environment. So I wonder how it would come across, if you know what I mean. Would it be OpenAI running the ads to us instead of
Yes.
one of, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, it has to
that,
be.
yeah.
And Microsoft, I mean, I know, and it's funny because like think about Netflix for a second, which we knew they too were going to ultimately advertise. But initially, you just paid for that monthly service. And so that's what I'm doing right now with ChatGPT. But eventually, right, and even Amazon with Amazon Prime, you can pay not to get ads, but then you still have live sporting events where you do receive the ads, whether you pay not to get ads or not. And so there's different ways for all these companies to make money, and advertising fundamentally interrupts. What Google did better than anybody else in the history of advertising was they made it relevant. So they were interrupting you with the right things at the right times. And so if you think about the intel that Google has about our behavior and online activity, and fast forward to ChatGPT and how
Mm,
quickly those AI machines, those language learning models, they're learning rather fast. They don't need to sleep, they don't need to rest. And so as we look at that, we go, eventually when somebody searches for, tell me about the best Ford dealer to buy a car from, I'm in the Houston market and would like to buy an F-150, and it's going to come back to you. And so it's going to give you its organic answer in a format that you're accustomed to receiving. But right now, those language learning models are sitting in the middle, and people are starting to use them to give them guidance on sales. And so how much value is there sitting in that trusted resource position between the GPT and the buying?
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean,
Yeah,
it's immeasurable how much value is sitting there. And so I'm just patiently watching, waiting, working on the things organically that you should be working on to be better and more presentable. Because at the end of the day, Google, Gemini, all of it's going to tie back to relevance. Although with language learning models, in a lot of ways, it's how it interacts with you. You can kind of give it its own, you can tell it to be kind or more direct or more succinct or give me flowery words, and it starts to read who you are. Like, so it's adapting to you and it's collecting intel from the environment. So as those two things evolve over time, how to get in front of the right people at the right time is going to be incredibly valuable.
Imagine how targeted them ads could be, like, because they know so much about you. They could be super, super targeted, not just like in the way that, other marketers target demographics. That knows, well, it knows everything really that you tell it. Do you know what I'm saying? Which most people are telling it a lot. I tell mine a lot. I tell mine, listen, I'm this, I'm this. You need to speak to me like this. So I try and use it to try and the best, so it gives me the best output for me. But that's just for me. It might not be the same for you. Do you know what
Right.
I'm saying?
The trust you have with whichever one you use is remarkable. And I don't know if you've seen, like on Grok, they're starting to develop companions. Have you seen these?
God,
Like
yeah, I think,
Bad
yeah, that's
Rudy,
crazy.
and they're starting to have their own little personality characteristics too. You're gonna have friends. I mean, like I don't know how to frame that. Like, but you're gonna have online people that you trust, little iterations, little, because right now it's a lot of it's text based, but it's evolving rather quickly. Elon's not stopping either. The iterations are going to continue to come fast and furious, and you're going to have more of these companions, is what they're calling them, and they're going to have lifelike characteristics. Right now they're cartoon based, but I can't tell you where this is going to go. I'll tell you this, I do know this, like the video is getting very good. 18 months ago, I could tell without a doubt if it was a deep fake.
Yeah,
Now, I'm not so sure from time to time. But
yeah.
18 months from now, the video is going to be looking crystal. The voices are going to match perfectly. I mean, that's where blockchain comes in, because blockchain is actually going to validate what is true. Because it used to be the newspaper was true. This is probably before your time. And then the internet came around and people started figuring out, well, I can put anything on the internet. Doesn't have to be true. So
Yeah.
then we started believing video, because at least video's
Mhm.
true. Except,
Yeah.
wait a second, wait, video's not true anymore. So now creators, social media influencers are going to start putting stuff on blockchain and saying, no, this is the authentic version of me, of my brand. And that's going to be compelling too. I can't wait for that. See where it goes.
So is the blockchain basically a way of verifying where it came from?
Yeah. It becomes the version of the truth. And I think truth is such a loaded word these days, but you notice I'm throwing it around a lot. Like, you trust your LLM. What is the truth with the blockchain? And as people go seeking the truth and looking for trust, are they going to trust, it's crazy, right? But are you going to trust people? Or are you going to trust your chat GPT? Are you going to trust the video that's there in front of your eyes? Or are you going to trust a blockchain that validates what it is that you saw?
It's going to be a
I can't
change,
tell you
isn't
where
it?
it's going, but it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's going to be a definite change on how we process information and which way we go with it. Like you said then, do you know what I mean? It used to be the newspaper, then the internet, then we realized it was the internet, but at least we have video. If you've seen it, I've seen it with my own eyes. Whereas now
Yeah.
it's going to be hard for people because it's a change in the psyche, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've seen it, but then I'm seeing on the blockchain that this is actually real. So it's going to be interesting how people adapt to it. Definitely.
And I think it's interesting too, because I think blockchain, a lot of people see for financial reasons, and fundamentally it solves an accounting problem because it makes it a verifiable, reconcilable piece of data that says, no, this really, really did happen. And it's got multiple people that validate it, either through proof of work or through proof of stake. But that's really not the key component. The key component is, do I believe in it? And so more and more, as these things erode, technology is the gateway to imagination and then innovation. And somewhere in between all that, we're going to figure out that we need technology to help us validate the technology that's being created. I mean, have you seen some of the scam stuff that's going on now? They're
Yeah,
getting pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah, they are definitely, and a lot more of them happen. Like a lot more attempts at phishing
Yeah, don't.
scams.
I mean, and I say this from a good place, but don't click the buttons on your phone. Like
No,
it's a bad deal. Like the typos that used to be telltale are no longer there because they're using these chat GPT models to help them write the emails. And so people are going to start wondering, where do I look for the truth? I think they're also ironically over time going to look for, where do I look for companionship? Because when you have companions on your phone, and I'm talking about on Grok, and I'm talking about, he's got 4 of them now. Okay, there's good Rudy and bad Rudy. So even the companions have personas. It's a little red panda. Check this stuff out, right? And you can have the nice panda or you can have the mean panda. And bad Rudy's kind of rude. He's rude. Where's this going to go? I mean, you're going to have more, or you're going to have more interactions or fewer. And my guess is you're going to have more. And they're going to get more nuance, right? Like if you see I like sports, that's going to be there. What if you want to do business or you want to, I don't know, what are you interested in? You name the hobby, it'll be there for you eventually.
definitely. It's going to be so mad as well because I feel like I don't know. I use mine as more like an expert, and then I check it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I think I use it for that type of thing, but I trust in it, and then I double check it. Do you know what I mean? But
Trust but
like it's
verify. That's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah, trust
Yeah.
but verify, and I use it a lot of it to I train it. So like I'll do like the custom GBTs, and I'll upload a lot of documents, so it's not just like the normal chat GBT. But I don't know about companions. I like it speaking, like you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
a robot, like a robot. So I'm like, I feel like, yeah, I trust you a little bit. I believe like you're coming from factual basis. Do you know what I mean? If it was saying like, "What's happening, buddy?" and I don't know. I feel like I would trust it less. But that's just me. Other people, there's a lot of people in the world. 8 billion people in the world.
Well,
Companionship.
that's just it. It's a function of your relationship with it. So people like you and me are spending more and more time, like it didn't happen overnight. And I think in the US, what I say, 33%, so that's, somewhere over north of 100 million people are monthly active users. They're starting to interact and they're starting to believe in how much better, and I'll be real clear. It's so much more robust of an experience between what happens when you do a Google search and what happens in a chat GPT or a
Yeah,
language learning model. It's
yeah,
just so much more robust. And you're like, wait, why am I doing this like index search? I'm going to do communicative elements. And in terms of like in marketing, you send a message and then it's what somebody receives. So it's your code and then how it's decoded. Well, the decode on a Google search is a lot different than the decode on ChatGPT. And the response from ChatGPT is so much more robust, it's more elegant. It's amazing. So like I say this only because I know there's 50% of the people out there that are still not using it. And I bet a lot of those are actually in my vertical. Like car dealers are not known for being in front of the curve. And a lot of them, and I apologize to the ones who are going to listen to this and say, well, Jim, I'm using it. I know. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
You're using it.
yeah,
But you can't advertise yet. So keep using it, help streamline your business operations, help find a way for you to be 30 or 40% more efficient while other people around town are not using it. And then once we get to over this 50% tipping point and they start to advertise, then let's find a way to get this to consumers in a way that helps them buy more cars
yeah, yeah,
in the
definitely.
way that they want to, right? Not in a
Mm.
way that a retailer wants them to, but in a way that works for the retailer and the consumer.
Yeah, when it does work and they do eventually have it pulled off, it won't even feel like they're being advertised to. It will just be like, oh, this is helpful. I feel like
Yes. And
that.
that is the beauty of Google. They made relevance really important. And so what they did, they grade your relevance And the higher the quality score, the lower the cost. So all of a sudden, David could compete with Goliath if David was what they were looking for, right? So a click for Dave, I've never done this before, but if somebody was looking for David in the slingshot, and I just use it as an example because I root for the underdog, and the cost on Google would be $1 for David to be David with the slingshot. Okay, in this instance, if that was indeed what you were looking for. But by the same instance, if you tried to cut in front of a search for David with a slingshot and you wanted Goliath to be the top paid position, you'd pay $10 for that click because that's not who you are. So it became more expensive to be something that you weren't, and it became more efficient to be who it was that you were or who it is that you are. And I think that was the power in Google. And you don't think that same kind of intricacy is going to be locked and loaded into ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok? Oh, you know it's going to be.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. So, Jim, local search group works in both automotive and the blockchain, two very competitive, highly regulated industries. What major shifts are you seeing in those spaces, and how are you adapting your approach?
Well, obviously, with automotive, ChatGPT is going to be a big deal. I think in blockchain, what's going on right now, there's a piece of legislation that just was passed. And so with that, the banks are now able to transact with stablecoins. There's a second piece of policy that is being worked on right now regarding not just the tracks for stablecoins, but all the different elements of exchanges, and which is it the CFTC or is it the SEC that's going to oversee and have jurisdiction over cryptos that are stablecoins, or which ones are securities, and a lot more nuanced. And that first piece, I think, established legitimacy and helped move the asset class from a $2.5 trillion worldwide asset class to $4 trillion, let's call it today. And I think once that second piece of the puzzle comes through from the US, I know other jurisdictions have moved faster with this, but with the dollar as the world reserve currency, fundamentally speaking, I think it's going to help serve as a catalyst for more countries, for the USA, which is a huge, huge spender, to move the asset class from 4 trillion to 10 trillion. So if you think, and I don't know what I don't know, not financial advice, do your own research. If you think that today's numbers are something else, wait till that legislation passed, and now you're looking at, in my mind, 2.5x from where it is today, if not higher. So that's where I see the growth in the two categories.
I feel like the US has, it might not be the first, but it's definitely going to have the most impact. If they pass their bills and it becomes the norm and banks start trading in Bitcoin, things like that, like you said, I think that it'll be humongous across the shockwaves across the world, because there's such a big, it's such a big country with lots of people using it. So I just feel like the impact it will have in the world would be crazy.
And we're so good with the internet, and we've been so bad with crypto and blockchain. And the internet proved to be really valuable to be out in front. I mean, think about Amazon and Netflix and Facebook and just kind of those core companies that we're talking about. Whereas a lot of this stuff is developing in foreign countries. I mean, and if you have that kind of finance for the world, I mean, we like to think that. I don't know if that's necessarily true, and I know it is eroding, so it's becoming less and less true. Whoever takes the lead with crypto is going to be able to have a tremendous advantage versus the rest of the world. I mean, why wouldn't we at some point? Why wouldn't we? That's a better question.
And I feel like Trump, before he came into power, that's what he used to swing a lot of the votes. I feel like that we're going to be ahead. We're going to be ahead. We're going to be using crypto. We're investing in crypto, AI, that type of thing. So it's all set up for America to do it, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's, to me, it should not be kind of a red or blue issue or a Republican or Democrat issue. It really is kind of a financial issue, which has a tendency to just cut across lines. But during the election, because the previous regime chose not to support the community, he made it an issue. And there, in that regard, a lot of people made it a single issue, right? A single issue voter, meaning if you're for this, then I'm for you. And as we looked at that, I did the math. I'm a numbers guy at the end of the day. I don't recollect exactly, but at the time there were about 30 million people that were using cryptocurrency. And if you flip 30 million votes from where it landed and you took it and you just split it down the middle, you would have had a different election outcome. But you took all those votes and moved them all over here. And so we're going to look back and say that was a tipping point. I mean, it was just, why wouldn't you want America to be the leader in innovation? We have been. It's part of who we are. And all of a sudden we're going to like back off of it because we wanted to protect the banks. I don't know. I don't know what it
Yeah,
was. I don't know why it was going down that path, but it became a big deal in this last election.
yeah, definitely. I think cultural sort of resistance. You're either sitting on one side or the other. If you've never used it before, you're not. It wasn't as interested in it. But so many people, and especially in the US, but all over the world, so many people are advocates for it. I'm not saying I've ever owned any crypto or anything like that, but I know so many people that have and that do, and that see it as the future. So if you're looking at a popularity vote, which essentially that's what voting systems are, there, who do you want in power? It's a popularity vote. Then to go hard on with not looking at that demographic of people was obviously detrimental. Because I remember watching it and I said it to my fiance at the time. I was like, the way he's talking, Trump, when he's talking about AI and he's talking about crypto, is forward thinking, and so many normally
Yeah.
the younger generation are looking up that they're like, not do it, you know what I mean? You're not on our side, you're trying to resist it. Whereas he was like, no, I'm all for it. I'm all for this. I'm all for that. And you could just kind of tell. I felt like online on different things. I felt like that was the biggest point.
Yeah, it did move that demographic younger
Mm,
to him
yeah,
that you wouldn't have expected, but it happened. So you can't say like it was back. I mean, and these are critical things of what's to come. And I'll go back in time with you for a second. In 2008, social media became a way in for the candidate at that time. I believe it was Obama, and he knew how to maneuver more effectively through that space. And then I just look back and go, oh my gosh, look what that became. Not him as a candidate. I mean, it helped to get him elected, but what it became to society. And so when you have a large portion of society that wants something and then they get something, the catalyst, because it's amazing. I'm excited for the growth that's going to occur, not unlike what happened with social media, but what's going to happen with the future of finance as well.
yeah, definitely. Both them things, AI and crypto. I feel like if social media, when it first came around, everyone was a bit like, I don't know whether it's gonna do this, I don't know. Whereas now with these two things, everyone's like, oh, wait for this, oh my beer, wait for this, it's gonna be something. So I feel like it's gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be crazy to think the steps forward it's gonna make in the next even years, like you just said.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like that, but it was that. And you feel like how much social media has changed from then until there. I mean, like, remember when social media first came about, it was like, you know, it's a free way that you can speak and things like that and all the rest of it. And then it was twisted in certain ways now. Do you know what I mean? Like, not all the time, but I'm saying, well, in the UK especially, you got to be careful what you say online. Do you know what I mean? And also during like election points and that, you've had social medias that have tried to
Have you
spread
seen the
misin.
show Adolescence?
No, I haven't. I
It's
haven't
on
followed.
Netflix.
Yeah.
It's really good and it's set in the, I believe, UK. I'm not sure exactly
Mm,
which
yeah.
location, but the whole catalyst, without giving away the show, it's about social media and what can happen. It's pretty dramatic. So, and you don't know it at first, so I'm just kind of giving you the middle. I'm not giving you
Mm,
the end.
yeah.
Boy, it's slow at first, but
Mm,
then it picks up towards the end and it's worth the wait. It's really a great show.
yeah. No, definitely. It just shows the power of these technologies, but also we have to also be careful with these technologies. Do you know what I'm saying? Like social media,
Yeah.
really good thing. Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously, it can be used for the wrong thing. And AI is just another way of that. I think. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that say, be careful, and we do need to be careful with it. I think 100% because it can be used in different ways. But I just feel
Have you
like,
seen the social media influencers? They're going to create versions of you. And
yeah,
I don't know about me, but for you, and there's going to be somebody that looks like you and talks like you and schedules the interviews, and it's going to have all the questions you want to know, and it'll be able to adapt and interact. And I'm not even like the guy that liked Star Trek or Star Wars. That's not my thing. I'm really not. I'm more grounded in the now. Like, what can we do now? Those things are not that far away. I think. I mean,
Do,
it's
did you mean like
wild.
the agents? Like the agents?
Yes.
Yeah, the agents. Sorry, yeah, I know. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Like
I mean,
even on ChatGPT, there's an agent mode, and I've been speaking to it about it, and it's and like eventually he was like, my ChatGPT when I was asking about agent mode because it came up with this thing, and it was like, oh, you can select to go in agent mode right now, and it's like a trial thing that they're doing, and I
yeah,
said, so what? How far away are we, and what will you be able to do? And it's like, oh, I'll be able to run your whole social media. I'll be able to run your whole LinkedIn.
yeah.
I'll be able to run this, and I'm just like. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Have you seen from Tesla, mind you? So another company. I don't think I'd be talking about it, but these robots. They're
Mm,
And for a while there, Amazon only did books. And so Tesla, Amazon's a little different now. And one of the most difficult things Amazon had to overcome was what they call the last mile, because it was easy to get things to city centers and distribute out from there, but it's really expensive to get it to your door at your house or at your apartment, right? Like that gets a lot more intricate. But when you look at the humanoids, I believe, like the little robots that look like human, these robots are now in the warehouses moving product down a conveyor belt, whether it's at Tesla or a product to be shipped at Amazon. But the last mile there, which probably has the possibility, it's just some of the difficulties, the intricacies of having kind of an assistant in your house, right? Think of that day. Is it? I don't know. It may not. That may not happen in my lifetime. Maybe in yours. And I'm not really hoping for it or wishing for it or worried about it. But it's just you see them and you go, "Whoa, it's happening." Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. And I think I can't remember who said it, whether it was Elon Musk or Sam Altman. Somebody's talking about it in an interview, and they were saying eventually your fridge will be telling you when you need, and it won't even be telling you, it'll be making the order for your shopping, your grocery shopping for the week without you even knowing it's going to be like that automated and they're all going to be that interconnected. Like a workflow, like when you do a business, when you do a workflow, your
Yeah.
home will be a workflow and it will be running simultaneously behind the scenes without us having to actually do any of that, which is crazy.
Do you know I changed my Wi-Fi recently? Do you know how many different devices on my house, in my house, are connected to my Wi-Fi? I had to change the password on every single one of them. I had 23. The TV, the refrigerator, the washer, the dryer, laptop, all the TVs, the pool. Like I mean, it's just what do you do now with it? The door, the front door.
It's mad. And you, like you just said then, 23 all running off the Wi-Fi. So to connect, and you'll be, will definitely won't be long from being able, they will all be connected and into talking with each other, communicating with each other. And it's crazy. Just, it's crazy to
Yeah,
think
with
how
that
far it's going
agentic
to go.
AI, because with agentic AI, you're basically telling whatever system, go ahead, take care of it for me. You're going to give the authorization. Mind blown. I don't know.
Make the decisions. So yeah, be able to make the decisions based on the information that it's got about you and about what it's trying to do, the task at hand.
Yes.
It's crazy, crazy, scary thoughts.
I don't know how we got here, but that's where we are. That's where we are.
Yeah, we're going to imagine saying what you just said. I don't know how we got it. We're going to be saying that in 10, 15, 20 years. This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like the internet was the big thing in my life that came around that I'm like, I'm thankful for it, but I also know what it was like
Yeah,
without it. And I
yeah.
think for your generation, AI is potentially one of those things that you're going to be like, I knew what it was like before, and now that I know after, wow, I'm thankful for it, but
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So, Jim, what's been working really well for your clients through local search group, and where do you still feel slight friction in delivering results?
what's been working well, we've been doing TikTok on the edges, and that's because we can compete in a place where other people are not. They
Yeah.
introduced a new product in February, and I
Hmm.
know we're later in the year, but we've been on that, refining it the entire time. And so that's one place because you pixel a visit, and now you're able to dial in directly to somebody who's interested in the products that are being sold. And then if I say a place where we're probably losing some of the scale that we had previously, I mean, when I look at, and I still love Facebook, it's necessary, so it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But because of some of the finance rules and regulations, when you buy that demographic, you're buying the whole category. You're not able to even say like a typical car buying person, you'd say 25 to 49, 25 to 54, something like that. That would be your target. But now you're getting the whole thing. And they're not letting you isolate or triangulate, or you can't pick male or female. It's the whole deal because of the privacy laws. And I understand very well how we got there and how we got
Yeah.
here on that front, but it's not a better experience for the consumer. It's not a better experience for the retailer. It's not a better experience for the ecosystem, but it's a safer program because, well, I don't know. I guess different finance rates were being charged for different consumers in a way that wasn't appropriate to their credit history. But at any rate, that's probably one where we've lost a little bit of the edge. I mean, these big companies now are not going to share data across platforms like they once did. Amazon was, I mean, best example. Google was the default search on Apple phone, even though Apple owns Safari.
Yeah.
And Google paid billions of dollars for this privilege.
Yeah.
Recently, that's been changed. You can still get Google app and do Google search on your phone, but now Apple and Google are like, that's my sandbox, that's yours. And even Apple and Facebook are starting to divide and conquer. I mean, if you advertise on Facebook, they send you a note and say, hey, make sure you're not advertising on the Apple app for Facebook because it's going to cost you 30% more to use our app on their phone. Is much better to use a website. Not that I was, but I'm giving you an example. Like if you don't know, you can burn through a lot of money very quickly by trying to be in an Apple ecosystem when using a Facebook product.
Yeah. My fiance runs ads for a certain, she's a social media manager, and she's told me that a few times because she's well into the Apple ecosystem, iPad, 2 iPhones, do you know what I mean? All of that. I'm not me. I like the freedom. Do you know what I mean? I'm like more Android. I used to be Apple before when I was, when I was a lot younger, but I like the freedom and I like Google and things like that. So I'm a Samsung guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, she said to me not long ago about, or if not that she does, but she was like, it actually would cost you much more if you used Apple product through to do Google ads. So she like posts it on her Instagram story to tell other people type of thing, giving away secrets. But you know what I'm saying? Like, free secrets is good. It builds trust and things like that. And I was like, no way. So it's almost like even they're in competition with each other now. And then like, no, there's no freebies here. You're not riding on my back to get better things for you.
Yeah. Have you tried on the Meta glasses or not?
No.
Okay.
You don't really see them. Well, I've not seen them much over where in the UK, back in the UK, but I resist to that type of tech. Like not that type, but like even these, it took me ages to be able to get. I wasn't into these headphones for ages. Do you know what I mean? Like these
Okay.
have been about for years, but it takes me a little while to put something physically on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. And I think that's very well said because right now that is not a place that is growing as quickly as these other categories I've been talking about. Like it's stalled. I'm not even tracking anymore in terms of and I don't own a pair. I've seen them and Apple even got into the space, but I think they did it to kind of keep Facebook out or at least to have an answer for the question of do you have a competitive element against what they have? I don't know. It's not as, I mean, we're still in the 5% land of total monthly active users, and it's just not critical. And is it a fashion statement enough to make me want to wear it or make you? You're more fashionable than me. Would you wear it for
Yeah,
fashion?
nah. No, I just think glasses are when you've got bad, if you need to see. Do you know what I mean? Like even before that, like I know they do hold like a lot of like they give you more things, obviously, but there's some people that will wear glasses that don't need to wear glasses as a fashion statement. I'm not one of them people, like, do you know what I mean? So I feel
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a stretch that is to do that. But at the same time, I have seen glasses. I don't know whether these do it either, but I've seen some ads that say for these glasses that will real time translate people, when you're speaking to people in different
From
languages.
English to
And
Spanish or, yeah.
yeah, that thing. Now that I can see, I'd be like, okay, that because that use of that is like that would be really cool. I feel like you could be anywhere in the world and you could be able to communicate with somebody. I feel like that would be something that I would be like, yeah, I'd probably wear that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, tremendous value. If it adds tremendous value, then you'll pay for it. It's not the pricing is not outrageous, but it just hasn't reached a point where you're talking about it. I mean, I remember all the other stuff, but you would talk about it. the Apple Watch, or just the experience even people have with ChatGPT. I mean, it's conversational. I'm not just for a podcast per se, but like out and
Yeah.
about with friends and family. Like,
Mm,
are
yeah.
you? I remember my nephew was going on his honeymoon. I'm like, and he's going to Europe, Italy, blah blah blah. I said, have you seen ChatGPT? Have you planned the itinerary? He goes, no, and they're doing all these searches. I said, well, type this in. Let's go. We'll get on the computer. He did it. He goes, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
right? I mean, when you have an oh my gosh moment with something new like that, that's when I know it's got a chance. And I don't think the glasses are oh my gosh right now.
And I feel like even if they were like AI, I don't know how if they were like fully integrated with AI and it was speaking to you, I feel like it's quite like invasive. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like on my phone, I choose when I go on my phone and I speak to ChatGPT. I feel like if you were wearing them glasses all the time and it was just speaking to you, it'd be like it's almost like one one sort of thing away from having like a chip inside you. I feel like it's more
Neuralink,
like yeah, like that neural
yeah,
link or something like that. And I feel like yeah, that. But obviously, some people will, you know what I mean? But for me, I feel like that's where I kind of be like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, I take a step back,
understood.
definitely. So, Jim, walk me through your client acquisition process from sort of contact to handoff. So, like, what I'm trying to ascertain is how much do you have automated right now, and how much do you still rely on manual ops or manual process?
We a lot of manual, but what the automated part, we created advertising on Facebook, and then we have a good target audience, and we're connecting with the right people, and they're able to book their own appointments. And when they book their own appointments, we do an integration with Calendly. And then the UX says, hey, you booked the appointment, does all the confirmation. And then you can set up the parameters to say 24 hours before, 1 hour before, send the text, do the reminder. And so that part's been good. It's difficult to scale because one of the things that we keep track of on this B2B level is of the people that set an appointment, how many show. And right now, my show ratio is around 50%, which fundamentally doubles the cost. So
Yeah.
in my mind, you got to be twice as good at what you're doing if your show ratio is only 50%. Now, do I expect it to be perfect? No, I don't. But that just keeps me humble and hungry and trying to grow. But that's one of the ways, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So do you know, like once they book a call, before you get onto a call with them, is there any, so I'm suggesting, is there any like, do you like lead score or lead qualify any of these people, or could it just be anybody on
Well, yes, we say we have them fill out a form, which cuts it
that?
down on the
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that put the information in. And then within automotive retail, I'll just be real direct. If you're below $5,000 a month, there's just not enough there. And that category also tends to be high maintenance. And so we have clients that spend into six figures a month, and that does scale, and we can provide better support and get better return on investment, not for me, but for them.
Yeah.
And so we want to spend more time
Yeah.
on those and not as much time on low value, high maintenance. That just doesn't work. And in that regard, the onboarding form that they fill out filters for that. And if somebody is making less than a month, we send a real nice note because, hey, next month, this same person could be spending $50,000 a month. We just wanted to make sure you understand at this time, we're not right for you, but at the right place and the right time, we're available. You can read my books, you can follow me on my Linktree, my YouTube, my Substack, all the, places I'm creating content. So hopefully it keeps them connected.
And do you know, so say you're running a campaign for a client, do you have any processes that are automated in the workflows for that? So like creating the campaigns, then like maybe some analysis, things like that, or are you sort of like, yeah, tell me sort of what's the process, what your workflows
Yeah,
are basically.
I'll give you this one, and it's tough because I think ideas are everywhere, but then there's the
Mm,
people that can deliver.
yeah.
With some of the podcasting platforms out there now, you can create the content on one that we're doing now, and you should be able to get, I don't know, 20 to 40 pieces of shorts, little 60-second, 30-second vignettes. And my goal aggressively has been to get to 7 platforms 7 times a week. So what is that? It's like, and I don't know that I'll get all of them, but TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram,
Facebook,
Facebook, you name some more. I mean,
YouTube.
we're trying to YouTube Shorts,
Yeah.
Instagram Reels, Facebook, I think I said, but then
Yeah.
distribute them out to all the different places so that they're seeing a consistent message, but
Across all
slightly
platforms.
different in each place.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work,
No, definitely. 100%. Kind of brings me
but
on to my. Go on.
go ahead.
No, go on. No, go on.
You get you get to a space though where you realize the platforms have moved to a place of interest. Like if you're not interesting, people are not. So you better talk about what you care about, and
Yeah.
then you better know what you're talking about. You can be controversial, and that'll work at some level, but it used to work more because that was what was going on when engagement was the highest priority. But because TikTok was better with interest, what people are interested in, they keep coming back to. If you think about your relationships in life, if you have common interest, you keep going back. And same thing happened with our platforms. Oh, wait a second. I'm interested in this. And so what happened, they reversed engineered, and YouTube Shorts is now interest based. Now, if you go to Facebook, it's interest based. When Instagram Reels came out to combat what TikTok and YouTube were doing, it's interest based. So now all of the platforms socially, especially with that orientation that's vertical, right on your phone, that's where people are. They're not going to stay a long time. But if you talk about something they're interested in, you can end up showing up there quite a bit. That's probably why you're doing all these podcasts. Am I right?
Yeah. 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 No, I have to listen to the market as well. I want to speak to as many people in this market industry who are successful, but at a certain point, successful. So then I can listen to the market and see where AI can help. Not so much sort of you guys, but sort of like at a lower level. Then when I go in and speak to sort of smaller companies or small that are at a different level and show them this is the future. This is what's going to propel you to the next stage, and then use what I've learned from all these different people to be able to help smaller companies that are more AI resistant. Like there's still some
Sure.
companies that are like, nah, I've got it on an Excel sheet. My fiance is one of them. Do you know what I'm saying? That she's not now.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up doing like falling into this because I was watching her work and I was just like, let's watch you do this way. You need to get systemized. You need to have things in certain way orders and things like that because she's very was very disorganized and now she's not. Do you know what I mean? We have workflows put in and she puts things into a folder and it will get she puts the content in a folder. It gets sent to an AI agent that's I've made with OpenAI that will use the knowledge that I've uploaded to it that's from her business, then spit out captions and then upload it straight to her buffer. So then she can go into buffer and just move the times. Whereas before it was all very manual. So do you know what I mean? She was
Yeah.
doing that. It was none of these things were connected. She was doing all the same things, but none of them were connected. And yeah, no, that's basically what made me want to do this. Really, do you know what I mean? Because I was just like, I wonder how many more people at your level, not your level, her level,
Yeah.
would be able to scale. Like, do you know what I mean? Because she's like a one man band, so the thought process to get to her to scale, I was like, I wonder how many more people are just doing this sort of would want to scale, but they don't know how to scale because they're just like, it's just me on my own. How am I going to do it? And I feel like what we spoke about, agentive AI, and being able to show them that and show them how to implement that and then keep a track of that for them, I feel like will add a lot of value. And so yeah,
Yeah, no, you will. The other place where there's big money out on the table has to be with, I think, two places, one legal and the other financial. Because when you think about risk on the legal side, often that drives corporations to avoid that risk. And then when you talk about financial, that's the other side of risk. I'm willing to put out capital to get a better return on the capital. And so I can't imagine that financial advisors, I mean, what is it about ChatGPT that couldn't give you a better experience if it were cultivated to meet the risk tolerance of somebody in Fidelity? Or if you did an exclusive onboarding with JP Morgan, right? Or or even for Stefan, right? What if you had your own, like, if it made money, money's a commodity at some
yeah, yeah,
level,
yeah,
right? Like, I'm just looking for more of it if I can find it a way to efficiently get it. Now, mind it when I say it, that's a risk on proposition. And I don't know if there are enough disclaimers in the world to help when you find a way to help people lose money. That's not a good feeling either. So that's a bad
yeah,
feels, bad
yeah.
experience.
Yeah, risk reward, definitely high risk, high reward in them systems. So
And the
Jim,
legal hasn't gotten to a place where they can cite all the case law really effectively. So right now, older lawyers who have the experience and know the case law, like they've experienced it, are way ahead. I don't know if I had to start a clock though, and somebody was fixing to graduate from law school, and I said, I'm going to take this language learning model thing. There's going to be a group of students that are going to do better because they're going to work harder and they're more ingenious. But I think it was Bobby Fischer played the computer in chess, and the computer finally won. Yeah, right. Like, I mean, they tied a lot at first. I think it was Big Blue. IBM created a computer back in the day.
yeah,
I could be wrong, so validate this before you air it.
yeah,
But same kind of principle is going to hold true. At what point is all the learning that these LLMs going to do be able to offset the knowledge that it takes a lifetime for somebody to acquire? And so that's why I say start the clock now, because if you're hiring a lawyer out of college, they've got to eat, they got to sleep, they got to provide, they're expensive. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong in the human condition. Whereas if you have the right language learning model, the biggest risk right now is they cite inappropriate case law or they don't identify the opportunity in front of it. But it's going to be able to consume information repetitively without sleeping for long hours. And if a senior lawyer is going to have to teach a junior lawyer how to write, why wouldn't I just teach my language learning
yeah,
model how to write?
yeah, definitely.
And that's big money, man. Like, I don't know who's working on that. Somebody needs to be working on that because, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it, especially with them high risk, high reward careers, definitely. But it's across the board. You know, what I mean, when I built that assistant for Danielle, my fiance, I basically took everything I know about her business and I put it into Google Documents, and I had separate, and I had, what's the word, like do this, do this, do this, do it like
Workflow. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, SOP basically as well. Do
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a standard operating practices. When she speaks to you about this brand, these are the brand guidelines. Da, 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 da. This is our mark avatar. These are the ideal avatar that we want to speak to. These are his pain points. These are this, and it's just basically. And she when it all worked, and she was just like, "How have you done that?" I was like, "I basically took everything that you do, but you can't really even explain. But I'm, you know what I mean? And I just uploaded it to this large language, this assistant, and now it's going to act." Reading these 32 pages before it spits out anything to you. And I feel like it's the same thing as what you just said. I mean, instead of teaching so many people to do it, and like there could be there's loads of people that you're going to teach in a class, for example, or you could just upload it all, and then with SOPs, I mean, things like that, and then that's going to be able to how many you can open up on this computer, that computer, this computer, all into the same ChatGPT account type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And then it's broad and it's there, so you
Yeah.
can
Any
scale it.
service
Yeah.
industry is
Mhm.
going to be impacted by this, like
Yeah.
in ways that are hard to describe. And moreover, more than service, probably knowledge industries are particularly susceptible to a leveling of the playing field. And because when I think of service industries, it might be a delivery service or it might be cutting your grass service or any of those kind of things, which you still for now have a physical component to it. But when you get self-driving machines and when you get agentic AI, they're going to be able to like do the things for that people do. I don't know what's going to happen then. I've had such a great run with the internet. I want to be at the beginning of the AI, but I don't want to be at the end of the AI.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's a smart thing. That is definitely. But I seen on one of your podcast clips on your LinkedIn about a guy that was saying the GM was trying to fix a garage door. He got ChatGPT, took a picture of the garage door, and that's where I think it is what you said before that as well, knowledge based. Because if I've got anything wrong with me, like as in like about tummy, this, that, then I speak to ChatGPT and I'm like, this is what I mean, and then it'll ask me qualifying questions, and we go
Yeah.
back and forth, and I'm like, because you're going to be able to air this out with me and we're going to have a conversation and you're going to ask the right questions and we're eventually going to get to, you know what I mean? Like trying to get a doctor's appointment in the UK is hard. Do you know what I'm saying? So like when,
Okay.
when I've had like, things like that, I've a lot of the time diagnosed through my chat GBT and then gone to the chemist and bought whatever I needed to get. And then I'm better. And I'm like, because when I go to the doctor, when I've been to the doctor before and I'm telling him things, he just goes on Google anyway.
Yeah.
He types the symptoms in on Google anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like,
When I go anymore to the doctor, I have done the research and I give my conditions in a text to him. I show him my phone, I screenshot it. And I don't tell him what the outcome is, but I'm just telling him here are my conditions. So I don't have to do it. And it helps get us to where we both want to be faster
that stuff. Yeah, no, 100%,
at
100%.
scale, like you said.
Yeah. So Jim, talking about, repurposing the content like we just spoke about with your podcast, do you do the same with case studies, wins, and use client data that could be repurposed into content of proof? Or would you say
No.
that no, no,
Yeah. Here's
is that,
why.
go on.
My clients are so competitive, and I respect that and honor it, that if I give your secrets out, then what's the point? I mean, if I do, it's with express written consent, not something I routinely do.
Yeah,
It's almost like, go back to that football analogy. It'd be giving the playbook to your competitor and saying, "Here, do this."
yeah, yeah,
And occasionally I give ideas out because I think it's very hard for people to execute, especially the way I see things and do things, or the way that my team sees things and does things. Like it's called elbow grease. Like you got to work your way through it in a hyper competitive, metric minded environment that is digitally dynamic. Okay. Most people don't want to sign up for that. They really don't. So once you've signed up for that, and now your goal literally is to out execute the competition and to keep score and to see if you won by as counted by the number of vehicle sales that you got each month, you're thinking differently, you're acting differently, you're playing differently. And I saw, you know how you can set up those trackers on your website? My competitors were coming to my website. My competitors were buying my stuff, and it wasn't my dealers. And so I realized I wasn't serving my intended community. I was helping my competitors break down the learning curve. And they had better scale because AutoTrader and Cars.com could do things that I couldn't do because they had more money, more resource. Not an excuse. And I'm a niche independent operator, not a conglomerate. So
just,
it's the place I'm in. I get it. I've been on the other side too.
yeah, yeah, sure. Do you ever put the scoreboard up then? So you don't want to give the plays away, but do you ever put the scoreboard up?
Yeah, I show them how to keep score. I show them how we play the game a little bit differently.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know Tom Brady? Do you follow football? You know him?
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's an investor in one of the football clubs as well,
Yeah,
isn't
probably arguably the greatest of all time.
he? Yeah,
So one of the
yeah,
most underestimated things that he ever did was he didn't get sacked. And if you go, well, why didn't he get sacked? It's because he made the decision to throw the football in 2.2 seconds or less. A lot of quarterbacks stand there, look here, look there, make a third. And I'm exaggerating, but the difference between 3.1 seconds and 2.2 seconds, it's less than a second. But do you realize how many more times you get sacked, how many more times the ball gets deflected, how many more times you scramble, how many more times your receivers might give up on a route? So he was like, guys, to his team, we're going to do this fast. It's going to be crisp. And when it mattered most, he was able to replicate it. And so that was my thing. We want to be precise. We want to be fast. We want to be right, but I'd rather be fast wrong than slow right. That's a whole nother podcast, but we're not
yeah,
going to do that today.
yeah. No, sure. So the last question is for this little middle part. A lot of agencies say they're using AI, but most are dabbling in tools rather than embedding it as a nervous system that connects workflows end to end. Where would you say you are right now? More here and there, or fully integrated in all your core processes? And if you're not there now, are you looking to do that in the future?
So we are internally excellent, like individually. I remember when ChatGPT started coming out in November, was that 23, I
Yep.
think? We did training that month because I know that deal with the tipping point. We talked about it earlier. So when I'm at the tipping point, I say, okay, we're doing training. We're in now. Now's the time. And I've done my research. So you're going to have a competition. I want you to use this command prompt because I need to get you to 50 hours of use. Because once you get 50 hours of this, you're not going to stop. And we're going to have a competition. And it's going to be a little like show and tell. And we've got the team. And each of you needs to go out there, get it, and work through it. Once you understand it, we need you to give your best tip for what it is that can help you be more efficient in your daily work. So we had that competition. They got 2 weeks to do it. I don't say they got all 50 hours, but they got a lot closer. And I started out by showing how it could help me answer emails. But what I was doing, I was taking the idea that it can help you answer emails off the plate. Well, one person figured out Mid-Journey was out there at the time and they did graphic design stuff and they showed us the possibility there. And we realized all of a sudden, oh my gosh, our workflow with graphic designers just got a lot better. And then another person in the group said, hey, you can do iterations with ad copy more quickly. And you can say that you want to be in this market with this target, with this psychographic and this demographic. And all of a sudden you had all these different iterations for snippets and with this character limit and these kind of things. And so we were able to iterate more quickly. And so I think really based on the discipline and the silo that the person was functioning in, they used it to make themselves more productive. And as a consequence, our organization got more productive. And as a consequence, our clients were faster to market and better to market. And the consumer benefit from that was indirect.
Sure.
But no, are we systematized? No.
Yeah.
No. Are we ready for that? I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me. How would you do it? Tell me.
I like to think AI should be used in business as like a nervous system, so embedded in
Okay.
all the core processes, and then it should be able to alert us to where it thinks we need to be alerted to, so where human intervention should be. So that's what I think, like, and I feel like because I feel like even if we did like you say 10% more efficient there, 10% more efficient there, 10% more efficient there, overall over a whole company will make massive differences. And it's all a bit like what you said about Tom Brady. Do you know what I'm saying? It's these little fine margins that if we can tighten up, tighten up, tighten up, I feel like we'll have a bigger impact, like you said, like on the field type of thing. And that's how I kind of feel like where AI would be with business, for example. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like what you were saying earlier about Calendly, and then it has, form that whittles that down. So that makes that more efficient. Do you know what I'm saying? So like the more you embed that across the whole sort of system, a company of all the systems, and have all the systems speaking to each other, so they're all singing off the same hymn sheet. That's kind of my ethos, should we say?
That's
A little bit.
awesome.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a
scary
lot.
though. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
I can't wait. I'll love to see this day with agentic AI, like go further out, not far out, just a little out. I give you my AI bot that knows how to make money and I give it autonomy over my bank account. Don't put more in your bank account than you could afford to lose. But if I give it, $100,000, I'm just being crazy, and I say I want to make $1 million, you have risk adjusted tolerances. What would they do? What
Yeah.
would agentic AI do? I don't know. I can't wait to see. And some people are going to claim they've figured it out and they've hung the moon, but you don't know what you don't know.
No. And also, I feel like, with the large language models at the moment, okay, so the more you tell it, the more information you tell it, the better it's going to perform to you, type of thing. And
Yes.
then you've got custom GBTs, which then you actually train the whole GBT on knowledge. So you give it knowledge. So you have the long prompt, the system operator thing, but then you can upload knowledge to it. All right, cool. So that's like the next stage. And yeah, you can do an assistant on OpenAI, so then so it logs, so you can have it integrated into Zapier workflows, N8 workflows. So that way you upload all the knowledge to it, and then even through a workflow, it's speaking to that exact system. Okay. Next we've got agentive AI, and I feel like that's going to be the same, as in you're going to have agentive AI agents, should we say? But the more you
Yeah.
train,
I get
the
what you're
more
saying. Yeah.
the more you train it, the more you give it the knowledge, it's going to be the results are going to be so much better, if that makes sense. I'm not sure whether everyone is actually, training it to that extent and make sure, like when I speak to my chat GPT, I like test it. I'm like, so what's my core values? What's my this? What's my that?
Do you?
Because I want to know whether you are remembering everything that we spoke about over the last 6 months, for example. And yeah, I feel like
I'm
the
gonna ask
agents,
it that one. I'm gonna
yeah,
ask it that one. You know what? Well, I'll tell you. I'm gonna give you one. You ready?
yeah, mhm,
So on Sundays, a lot of times I'll go in when I think about it, not every Sunday, but often, and I'll ask it, tell me in the last 7 days what I've spent my time asking you about. And it
mm,
will break out for me 70% of your time, 30% of your time, 20, 50, all the numbers.
yeah,
Whoa. I mean, if you
mm,
if you realize what you think about is who you are, because I've
mm,
always thought you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
yeah,
So I say that to say this with ChatGPT, you're the average of the top 5 things you spend the most time with, right? Just like on a human level, but on ChatGPT, your thoughts become your actions, right? Your actions become your words. They all kind of get infused together, and then that's who you become. So what you're thinking about, asking about, getting feedback on, you're getting better at, and then you spend more time doing it. So just being aware of what your dialogue is like.
Yeah, no, that reminds me of a good one as well, where you say, "You know me." I've said this to him before. So you know me really, really well. You spoke to me. Da, da, da. Give me a brutally honest breakdown on where you think I can improve in business, in life, and where you think and what list me the things that you think I'm good at, but also the things that I can improve at, and it gives you cool things. Do you know what I mean? The
Right.
way
Yeah.
you're there, like it's a bit hard to take some of it.
Yeah. Like hurt my feelings. Tell me what I don't want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I say just be brutally honest with me, but constructive. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Be a
I don't want
business
you.
coach. You're not my
Yeah,
parent.
yeah,
I want to hear
yeah,
it. Tell me. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. No, definitely, and I feel like that's a good one as well because if you can take if you want to improve. I mean, another thing I feel like I've been like right, it's Friday. This is four people have cancelled my podcast this week. Okay, cool. So listen, what can we do from now until Monday to absolutely get this thing on fire, to do this, to you know what I mean, to get this, to get 30 podcast calls booked in the next month, to to hit relevant target audiences. So I'm speaking to the right people. Bam, 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 bam. What should you do? And then it's like, right, this is your sprint, and then it'll give you like a non, because when we look at things, it's like, but this we have human emotions in it. But when that's telling you, it's telling you just like a system. It's this is what you need to do. This is what you need. Do you know what I mean? So that's another good one.
Yeah. No, that's great. I'll use that from time to time. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. It's amazing for the people that are using it. It's helping you get better faster when you do it
Yeah,
constructively.
yeah.
And if you use it for, and that's part of the challenge, it can be used destructively. And, hopefully most people don't, but for those people that are so inclined to do so, it's going to get them there faster.
Yeah,
So,
sure. Definitely. Jim, where do you want local search group to be in the next 12 to 18 months from now, both in terms of growth and how you want your role as a founder to evolve?
just, I'm still in it to help the ecosystem get better, and I still enjoy the competition. So I'm going to be in a player coach kind of role, and I want to help. I want to help the clients. I want to help the associates get better, and I want the automotive community to continue to improve. I've been in it for the long haul. I do know uniquely the weaknesses, but there's so many strengths that can help the world be a better place. And that's kind of, I mean, that sounds nice, but if everybody's growing and we're all going somewhere together, I think technology is a good way to get there. And I'm just sitting on the precipice like a cat ready to pounce. When we get to those critical numbers, I'm going to be out in front of the community saying, hey, we can help you right here. Right. And it's going to help the car dealer and it's going to help the consumer, and we're going to get better together. So in 18 months, I want to see us advertising on ChatGPT, and I want to see local search group helping dealers all across the US to get in touch with the right consumers at the right time. There you go.
That's definitely a good place to be in. So my last question is it's the same every time for everybody. If you could wave a magic wand and remove just one bottleneck, either in your business or in business in general, what would it be and why? Completely hypothetical question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm so operationally minded. So I just, I hate waste. I wouldn't, if I could, yeah, you asked. So here I go. I would remove wait times, like find a way to sequence the human condition so that you don't have to have wait times. You're going, what are you talking about, Jim? Like at the dealership on a busy Saturday, you got to wait 2 hours for finance. Or I'd even get to like, couldn't we do something with workflow so that if we stacked up people that work from 7 to 4, 8 to 5, 9 to 6, so they're in the traffic at different times of the day, so you didn't have to waste that time, because time is what life is made of. And the more time we spend with people engaging in the things we want to engage in, the better off we're going to be. Not time spent to waste on social media or whatever time killers you have, but really to spend more quality time with family, with friends, in business, whatever you want to spend your time doing, but just finding a way to free up time so that we're not stuck doing the things that we don't need to do because everybody's trying to do them all at the same time. So there you go.
Love asking
I don't
that
know you've
question.
heard that one before.
No, to be fair, every single one's been different. Honestly, every single one's been different. So I
I
think it's
I
cool.
want a compilation of those. That's like the best of, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. So, Jim, just tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you online and where they can contact you.
Yeah, the best place, email jim@localsearchgroup.com. It won't take much of a Google search to find me on YouTube. I've got a link tree. My Facebook page, which is more friends and family, is facebook.com/Jim Flint. Same thing with linkedin.com/Jim Flint, JimFlint. Jim Flint. And then on Twitter @Jim Flint12. The number one, the number two. I'm out there. I'm not hard to find.
Okay, well, thanks for coming on. Really enjoyed the conversation. I think we've got into some really cool points and touched on some, really cool stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Stefan. I really appreciate it. It was good times.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.